Hey everyone, welcome to my channel's very first tutorial video. Today, I'm going to show you my process for creating a black and gray tattoo. Our tattoo subject for this video is none other than Tommy Shelby. To start, I'll show you how I create the stencil for this design. I outline with a red ink pen so that details are easier to spot. There are straight lines and there are dotted lines in my designs. The straight lines are for the main outline, while the dotted lines signify areas of shadow. And when I include glitters, I seal them in with straight lines. You may notice that in the reference image, our character has a particularly dark left eye. To capture this, I sketch lightly without using a vector to outline my reference lines. Once that's done, I can darken these lines with ink.
Music licensing reimagined.
As you can see, this is what my final stencil looks like, and it's what we'll use for the tattoo. Now we'll prep the area to be tattooed by shaving and disinfecting it. Once that's done, we'll adjust the design to the height we want. I use a pen to draw alignment lines on both the stencil and the skin to guide my stenciling. When we're ready to apply the stencil, we'll make sure these lines align so that the design is precisely where we want it.
Music licensing reimagined.
In this case, I had to reposition the stencil slightly away from my marks. This was necessary in order to accommodate another tattoo the client has on one side.
Artlist.io.
Once we remove the stencil, we check that everything looks good. If we need to reapply the stencil, we can, but in this case, it seems fine, so I can proceed.
Music licensing.
For this tattoo,
reimagined.
I start off with 100% black, then shift to approximately 75% black, then 25%, and finally a mix with just 3 drops of black ink. Each diluted stage gets about 7 drops of white and is filled with distilled water, to which I add Stencil.
Artlist.io.
For my tattoo gear, I'll use a 3-liner, a 13-liner, a 12 gauge, a 9 Magnum, and a 10 gauge RM19. Now I'm going to start off with the RM19, using the lightest ink dilution. I'll begin building up the layers of shadow to see how intensely it stands out on the skin. While I do that, let me introduce myself. I'm Jorge Larrazábal, a 25-year-old tattoo artist from Tuxtla Gutiérrez, Chiapas in Mexico. I wouldn't say that I stick strictly to one style of tattooing. I enjoy variety in my work. I'm particularly fond of tattooing anime characters, and I'm currently working to improve my skills in shading techniques and new school style tattoos. Thank you for your support, and be sure to follow me on Instagram to stay updated on my art. If you're ever in the area and want a tattoo, you know where to find me. Just hit me up if you need to, we can chat that way. If you're curious about the tattoo or this video, just let me know.
Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined.
After I finish with the lightest ink, I switch to the full-on black ink to work on the darker spots.
This helps me see the difference between my lightest and darkest ink on the skin, so I can work on the midtones later.
Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined.
I don't always stick to the reference completely. If I think I need to add more contrast in some areas, like backlighting, I'll do it. This way, the tattoo has more depth, and the details will still look good when it heals.
Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. 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 Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined.
So here's when I started messing around with the 3CRL to whip up a few special effects. I'm just flipping between the inks. One's at a 25% concentration and the other's at 75%. We got to be careful not to bury the needle too deep. We want a smooth transition and keep it from looking too harsh.
Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined.
Time for a needle switch now. I'm on to using line 3. I'm going to start pulling together some lines now, sticking with the 25% ink. I reckon working with lines is massively important, but we gotta cover them up just right to make the tattoo look ultra realistic.
Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io.
So first, I work on the face's outline, the left eye lines, and the nose lines. At the same time, I'm using a 3RL to add little shadows.
Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined.
Then, with a 9mm, I start making the face and nose shadows.
Artlist.io.
I switch back to an RM19 to create the cheek and cheekbone effects. Similarly, I start opening the pore with 25% ink.
Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined.
I'm mixing different concentrations of ink to give depth to the facial features. I'm trying to create dust-like effects for added depth while keeping the artwork neat.
Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io.
To make the hair look real, I'm using the Magnum 9 and RM19 by Kanto for texture.
Music licensing reimagined.
Next, I fill in and shade the darker areas.
Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined.
Using the RM19, I'm starting on a background that will help differentiate the skin tattoo and give it more contrast. I'm starting with 25% ink concentration, and I'll alternate with the other two diluted ones.
Artlist.io. Artlist.io.
So, I'll wrap it up with a touch of white, mainly using glitter to make the tattoo pop. It's best to use a fresh needle. I'm going with a 3RL this time. I'll stick with a voltage of 10.5 for the white. I try not to go over it too many times. Aim to nail it in one go.
Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io.
So here it is, the final look after a solid 6.5 hours of work.
Music licensing
If you dug the video,
reimagined.
hit that subscribe button, give us a like and share this video. Drop a comment if there's something specific you want to learn more about in the tattoo world. Check out my stuff on Instagram. Aside from tattoos, I also do sketches, watercolor, and digital art.
Artlist.io.
Now I'm about to start on a new school style tattoo. I'll be sure to share everything about it from concept to execution. I hugely appreciate you sticking around until the end. Got any feedback or advice? Let me know, I'm always keen to up my game. Catch you later.